Welcome everyone to Liberal Agencies Television. I hope this video finds you well in your location across the globe. Today, I just want us to encourage ourselves on why it is very important for people to register as voters. You know, a lot of people like saying that they don't like politics. What will I get from politics? I want to take this opportunity today to urge you everywhere you are, wherever you are, once you've attained the requirements to be enrolled as a voter, it is very important to go and list yourself as a voter in your country. If you live in Kenya, this video is very timely because the exercise of registering voters is ongoing. And this is the second and the last chance. There will be no other opportunity to register as a voter until the forthcoming elections. So if you care about yourself and your future and your children's future, go and enroll as a voter. For those who have moved, maybe from where you used to live to another place, it is also the right time for you to go and change your polling station. You know, I last heard one of the IEBC commissioners on TV say that if you want to change your polling station, you have to go to the new polling station that you want to be enrolled in. You don't go to the previous station that you used to go. Even if, let's say for example, you used to live in Nakuru, and now you've shifted, you're now living in Embu. If you want to change now to vote in Embu, go and enroll yourself in Embu. You enroll yourself where you want to vote, where you will vote in the coming elections. So I want to urge you guys to, wherever you are, you need to register as a voter. It's a very important thing. And everybody across the world, wherever you are. But for Kenyans, it's special because this is the year of elections and the enrollment is ongoing. So this video is very timely. As we proceed, I want to allow our viewers to kindly subscribe and press the notification bell so that you'll always get our videos whenever they come out. Politics is very important. In fact, politics is everything in the life of human beings. So this thing of people saying, I don't like politics, what will I get from politics? There's nothing you won't get from politics. Everything that you get in this life it's about politics. When a child is born in the hospital, how they are born is about politics. If the politics was right, you find that they are born in a good condition. The way they are brought up, The environment that they are brought up is all about politics. You know, how they school during their schooling days is about politics. Whether they get good schools or they lack school equipment, it's about politics. As they grow and now start choosing even their careers, you know, it's about politics. Even after they've finished school or have graduated and have now qualifications, how they get absorbed in those sectors everywhere, everybody what you've pursued is about politics, you know. And then somebody says that I don't like politics, what am I going to do with politics? In this life, everything except oxygen that you breathe, that is what you can say you get outside of politics. So my people, in your country, ensure that you are always enrolled as a voter so that your voice can be heard. Because that is what politics is. There's also this issue of apathy, you know. Some people previously, they were very sharp. When it's election time, they will check their status, am I eligible and everything. But gradually, depending on their past experiences, people start becoming relaxed. That even if I go and register and vote, I can't change much. No, you start now becoming less optimistic now. Even if I go and vote, you know, because at times I know it's because maybe the leaders, when they are campaigning, they give a lot of promises, and then they ignite you. When you go and vote now, they will not deliver on those promises that they gave the electorate. So that's one thing that also contributes to apathy, voter apathy, even during the time of registration when people are not interested. But if one person disappointed you, don't judge everybody that, after all, politicians, the person who was there did not he lived to their words. Don't judge everybody. Change that person who messed you up. But you can only do that after when you are registered and you are a voter. Change that person until you get the right person. You know? I know at this time there are so many issues that affect people that have contributed to voter apathy. I was up country, you found that the clerks who are registering people are just resting in those polling stations. And the people who are supposed to be registered are just walking freely. When you ask them, they say even if they vote, their vote never makes a difference. Let's not buy to that kind of apathy. Go and register as voters. You make a difference. You know. Another thing that, you know, there's this thing called the deep state. It also has a way of contributing to voter apathy. You know, when you mention deep state, some people will say, what is deep state? Maybe it's not there. Actually, in Kenya right now, it's a debate that is ongoing, that some people are saying there is deep state, some people are saying there's no deep state. But I want to assure you, all over the world, there is always a hidden hand somewhere. And that is what is being referred to as deep state. There's always a hidden hand somewhere that will always tilt the result a bit to favor a particular side, you know. And it becomes always possible for them only when the difference between the leading candidates is narrow. when the difference is narrow, and probably the person they want is the second person, it becomes very easy for them, because it will not be, realized easily. You'll have to bring a lot of evidence to produce, to prove. But even if you bring a lot of evidence, still you cannot prove it very easily. The other side will also just find a way of defending themselves. And you can lock out the deep state only by going and enrolling as voters in large numbers. Because, politics is about, you've heard it before, it's about, perception, You just need to convince the people or the masses that it's your side that has the numbers. Once you've convinced everybody, or everybody starts to believe that this side are the ones who has numbers, that perception, when it enters people's now minds, you find that they are usually those voters who are never decided. So when the perception has now sunk on them that this side is the one that has numbers, they tend now lean on that side now, because they want to be on the side of the winning person. So that's why you need to register as voter, so that you have the numbers on your side, so that you will be able to win the hearts of the undecided voters. There are always people who are not committed in any side. They are not. They can even fail without voting. But if they have to vote because maybe they have been invited or motivated by maybe other seats, civic and parliamentary and others, and they end up in the polling station, maybe in the presidency level, they were not even interested in anybody. But because they are there, they may just have to now mark up a ballot. They will always just mark it depending on which side they believe has numbers, you see. That's why I'm telling you, perception in politics plays a role. You've had this thing of tyranny of numbers, to create the perception that one side has more numbers than the others. And if you succeed in spreading that propaganda, that your side is the one that has numbers, you will get the undecided votes. And in that issue of numbers, after the enrollment of voters is finished, the IEBC will publish the registered voters countrywide. This side of the country, this much votes. This side of the country, this much votes. The other side of the country, this number of voters are this one. So now the politicians will sit down and calculate. Because usually in many cases, you find that politics find that people align themselves, maybe depending on the tribes and things like those. So if this tribe has more, if one side has more tribes, or let me say maybe kingmakers, now you just need to add this region have enrolled this number of voters, and their money is there, so they'll all give one person. This other region has enrolled this number of voters, and they'll give so and so. So people just tend to add those regions, and see which region has more votes. And when the regions, now you have one camp has a kingpin from this region and this region, it is perceived that now, because their money is on that side, they are going to give their vote on that side. So when people approach elections, that kind of perception is always put in people's minds. And that is what even the deep state uses to tilt the vote, So if you are lucky that your candidate may be on the side of a deep state, then you need to have registered as a voter. Because when you register as voters in large numbers, you create a perception that you have the numbers, when the registered voters list is produced, your region is seen to have registered more voters. So even if you don't vote, you give the deep state an easy time if they were to tilt it on your side. You've had cases where results come, an area has voted 99%. It's never like that. It's not easy for a region to vote 99%. I was told there's somebody, a friend of mine was giving me a story that I think it was in 1992. There was a politician whose votes when counted was more than the registered voters in that constituency. One person's vote, it was 100+% of the registered voters. It was excess. It means it was his numbers were inflated excess. But if you register as voters in large numbers, when now you are being helped a bit, you give the people who are helping you to inflate your figures an easy time, And it happens. Let's just face it. It happens. The deep state will always inflate figures in favor of the person they are pushing. And if they're lucky that region of the person has more voters, now it's easy. I remember there was a time in the past 2 elections, I think, one region brought up votes over 1 million. It was just a small section. I don't want to mention, regions. One region brought votes that now changed the results, just like that. And it was coming towards the end of the results announcement. All the other results had come. But this section was reserved to see what's the difference between number 1 and number 2, how the difference is going to become. When they realize that now the difference is this much, that region, because it's always vote rich, when it was announced now, they announced it 99, almost 100% people voted. And you can't question them so much, because if you check the register, the numbers that they've said are within the registered voters. It's a lot, but now they voted 100%. You can only argue on that now. How can they vote 100%? But yeah, they voted. These are the results. So you need to register as voters so that those kind of dynamics, in case they are going to play out, they can always play out in your favor, And also, there's something that always contribute to people saying that I don't like politics, I'm not going to vote. This is largely from people who come from areas who have never tasted leadership of the country. Those are the people who will find that most likely they usually say things like that I don't like politics. What does politics help me with? But from the areas of people who have had leaders at the top, and they've seen how leadership can help a region, those areas are always on top. The other time there was an interview, there's a reporter who went to do some news in some region. And when he was there, he spoke to some of the residents there. And we found a resident of that place was saying that in this area of ours, the roads have been done until it's almost entering the house. The roads are very good. The network is so nice that it's almost like the roads are entering the houses now of people in those rural areas, interior. One of the people who are interviews was saying that like that. And there was a time also that I had gone to visit somebody. I went to in a very far area in the interior of a rural place. And the amount of road that the tarmac that was done in an interior place that even there are no vehicles as such, only cows grazing. Cows, even after they are now full, they come and lie on tarmac. That is leadership. That is what brought the leadership of that area, because they had attested power. That is why you'll find that their roads were done, and that was a while ago. So people of such areas don't want to joke with leadership. They always want to bring it back again because they know it's sweet. It's only the regions that have never tested leadership that you'll find them, they can easily say that, me, I'm not going to vote. Please, kindly, you need to change that mindset. You need to change that mindset. And just to conclude, even if people even should be vying for these positions, yeah, you just offer yourself as candidate. Like for this MCA seat, it's a very simple seat to capture for beginners, because you don't even need a lot of money. You just need to build a few networks here and there. You start early, maybe 3 years to elections, if you know you are interested. You just talk to a certain region, in an MCA, maybe in a ward area. It's not a very large place. So you just try to identify some people, appointment in those different regions, and you plant them there. They start pushing your agenda slowly, When there's a small event, you also come and address the people like that. By the time your election's near, you'll find that you've already gone to almost every corner, even without spending. Spending will now just come when elections are near, maybe the last year of election. And you end up just capturing these seats. So people should go even and vie for these seats. And you will not be clear to vie for a seat if you are not a registered voter. You saw the case that happened in Kibera by election the other time. There was a candidate who was proposed to stand, only to be realized that he had never voted any before in his life. It brought a lot of issues. It was only when he was now offering himself to vie is when they went to register quickly under so that they can pass the test of being a registered voter. They had never voted before. So to avoid such issues, you need to register as voters. You never know what tomorrow brings. And right now, there's a law that is coming. I think it's already passed. You cannot be even nominated to any position, whether Senate or Ward Assembly or even National Assembly, if you are not an aspirant in the just concluded election that has just been concluded. You need to have been a candidate so that you qualify to be nominated. So you see how it's complex. Yeah, they are tightening everything. First of all, register as a voter. You also be ready to be offering yourself to vie for these seats. Maybe if you fail, maybe now you have a chance now to be nominated as any position now, because that's how it is now. So, ladies and gentlemen, That's just all that I wanted to talk about today. People should be patriotic. By just going to register as a voter, it also shows a sign of being patriotic. These small things, that's how you show patriotism to your country. There's this man who just passed away last evening. He's called Isaac Juma. A lot of people know him as Kenya One. He never misses in any Harambee Stars matches. He will always attend. And then he paints himself with, national flag colors, red, green, like that, red, white. And he's always very jovial, agile, active throughout the match, trying to motivate the players. And that is his way of, passing his patriotism. And he urges the team on like that. I just received his news of having passed last evening. And when now a person like that passes, that's when you now start noticing their usefulness. But he has left a mark. So ladies and gentlemen, always try and enroll yourself as a voter. It is for your own good. It makes a difference in your own life. The government that you choose is what will decide the cost of even everything that you put on your table. So this thing of saying that politics does not do anything to you, does not help you in anything, let it become the last time you're hearing things like that. Go and enroll as voters. I want to finish just like that. I don't want to do a very long video because I'll better do them maybe part 1 and 2 instead of just doing a very long one that goes for almost 1 hour. It discourages people from maybe listening to the end. So I've opted to just do, maybe if it's a long topic, we do part 1 and 2. So from that, having said that, I want to thank you all for the way you've kept on following and checking our videos. I just want to remind you also to subscribe. Thank you, thank you, thank you. God's blessing.